Hello everyone! Happy Sunday and happy Valentine's Day. It's Majori from the Punk Priestess, and I'm so happy to do another weekly reading with you. Today's been an awesome day for me, and I hope that you're enjoying yourself as well. Hi Jackie, I hope you're feeling better. So today, just going to be a short little reading because I want to enjoy my Valentine's Day. Hi Rena. And we're going to be using a deck I haven't used in a while. This deck is by Amy Zerner. It's a vintage deck that is from the 90s. So this is, I think, over 30 years old. It's really cool, but the reason why I'm using this deck is because it's very Libra, Valentine's Day vibes. So I think that's really cool to bring that in. Still some lingering effects. Okay, well, I'm glad you're doing better. I heard it's very rough, so hang in there. You got this. But how's everyone's Valentine's Day? Thank you for spending a little bit of it with me. But yeah, it's just been a very crazy week. I'm happy to have a 4-day weekend or a 3-day weekend with President's Day. Because Mercury retrograde has been kicking my butt. It's been so chaotic. And I've been breaking stuff. I broke 2 vintage pieces. I broke like this vintage vase that I was using putting my sage in. I broke a Wedgwood glass, and I broke a crystal today. And I'm like, oh my God, I can't touch anything delicate or vintage because I'm just gonna break it. So until the 20th, until Mercury goes direct again, I am not allowed to touch any crystals or like any breakables because I don't trust myself. But thankfully, knock on wood, technology has been okay for the most part. There has been a little bit of weirdness, but for the most part, the technology aspect of this Mercury retrograde has not been that crazy compared to some in the past. I'm just lighting some Palo Santo here. But what else? Yeah, I just been relaxing. Jenny's ice cream has been saving my life. I'm lighting a spell candle, road opener. I took a picture of this candle on my Instagram, and it's really crazy when you light spell candles. And my favorite are House from Intuition. Those are my favorite spell candles, and they're a little pricey. I think they're like $18, but totally worth it. But hi Lynn. But it's really crazy because since I've been lighting this candle for the past 3 days, I just had a flood of ideas and inspiration coming to me. And a lot of thoughts that have come to me seem kind of obvious. It's kind of like, wow, why haven't I thought about this before? Or like I should have been thinking this way, but now like the wheels are turning in the right direction. And that's just the gift of a road opener spell candle. It's like you start seeing different pathways, and it's being presented to you, and there's no longer these blockages hindering that progress. But I feel good. I feel like I have a lot of opportunity over some things I've been contemplating in my life, and some things that I'm unsatisfied with. But also I'm hopeful that the future will work out in my favor. So yeah, I definitely recommend, if there's anything you're trying to manifest in your life or change in your life, definitely treat yourself to the House of Intuition spell candles. I've been lighting them for the past 4 years now, and with lighting them, I've been able to get a job, get more success in my business, get better relationships, and have a nice home. And that's all a part of my own personal manifestation, but what's really helped enhance that and kind of move it forward is your focus is very concentrated, and the energy of the spell candle like picks up on what you're trying to manifest. So it's really cool. I definitely recommend House of Intuition spell candles. They're the best. I'm going to get some Florida water. I'm never 100% prepared when I do my weekly readings. I'm like, oh, I gotta get this, I gotta get that. I left the oven on, but I'll be right back. All right, I'm cheating. I'm not using my Florida water today. I'm just using some basic Florida water here. It's like $4, super cheap. But yeah, I think I'm gonna bring my Florida water back. I have only a couple more left, And I'm like contemplating, should I do another Florida water drop? So we'll see, maybe next month. But the decks I'm using, I have the Goddess Tarot deck, which is really cool. So I'm going to be using this. I have postcards from the Liminal Space. I have Oracle of Oddities 1, 2, and 3. And then I have a vintage tarot deck by Amy Zerner, who's an incredible illustrator and astrologer and tarotist. And the spread I want to do today, this is kind of like a spread of accountability, I feel. It's only a 4-card spread, so I'm going to keep this reading pretty short today. Hi, Megan. But I think it's going to be pretty cool. So how's everyone doing this Mercury retrograde? Are we surviving out there? We're almost done. Almost done. It's been a rough one. It's hit me a little bit harder than the past couple retrogrades. So I don't really 100% know why. I have to look at my transit chart and see like what's going on with my planets as to why this is just hitting home so much for me. Because some are not as effective. It all depends on like what's going on in your chart right now. But yeah, let's see. It finally caught up with me. Oh yeah, end of the week. We're almost there. What have I been doing? Oh, I watched All the Boys I loved before, or like I don't know what the new one is. All the Boys Forever and Ever or something, whatever. It's the third one. It came out a couple of days ago. It's so good. Like I love Noah Centineo. He's so hot. Definitely, I know it's kind of cheesy and it's very Gen Z and like, you know, cutesy, but I totally recommend All the Boys. Binge them. There's 3. They're on Netflix. Perfect for Valentine's Day, of course. See, all the planets in Aquarius are opposing my sun and ascendant. Yeah, thankfully, I mean, I only have 2 planets in Aquarius. I have my Mars in Aquarius I only have 1 planet. I have my Mars in Aquarius, and then I have my Lilith in Aquarius. Oh, and I have my Saturn in Aquarius. I gotta see, yeah, I haven't looked at my transit chart in like 3 weeks, so I'm not 100% sure what's going on with me right now. But I am going through my Saturn return, but it hasn't been dreadful. Knock on wood. The full moon right before I came down with COVID. Oh my gosh. Yeah, 12th house. That would do it for you because 12th house is the house of imprisonment. It's the house of confinement. So it's like, it's no mystery you got COVID around that time because it's now you're confined literally to your home. And that is such 12th house energy, for sure. I watched One Night in Miami. Highly recommend. Ooh, I haven't heard that one. I need to watch that. I actually, randomly, I watched Gone Girl yesterday, and it was so good. Like, I forgot how good that movie was. I haven't seen it in, like, 6 years. And I was like, damn, like, this is great storytelling. It's just phenomenal. I definitely, if you want to be in that mood, rewatch Gone Girl. I think it's a perfect like Mercury retrograde movie to watch. I should make a list of Mercury retrograde movies. I have a soundtrack on my Spotify. It's actually in my bio of like Mercury retrograde inspired songs. But I should make a movie list or like a TV show list. But I think Gone Girl is a perfect Mercury retrograde movie. Gosh, I just forgot how phenomenal it is. I'm like, I think I need to start reading the book. I put a poll on my IG stories, and everyone was like, read the book. So I'm going to read it. But I'm going to start reading Firefly Lane, the show I recommended that's on Netflix right now. I was so moved and inspired by that show. I was like, I'm going to read a book again. I haven't read a book in a year. I don't know what that is. Just kidding. But I ordered it on Amazon, so it should be coming, I think, on Wednesday. But I'm going to read Firefly Lane, and then there's the sequel, which is called Fly Away. So I'm going to start reading those. That's like my winter, spring read. Let's see. Okay, so let's get the vibe right. So I wrote down the question. So this was actually a spread that one of my favorite tarot readers, Jessica Crispin, this was a spread that she did in one of her live Instagram readings. So Jessica Crispin, she creates my favorite tarot deck called Spoilia Tarot, and I usually use that every week, but I'm going to switch it up this week and use another deck. But Jessica Crispin also has this incredible tarot book called The Creative Tarot. So if you're a creative person, or just in general you're trying to get more inspiration into your life, she relates the tarot cards to creative manifestation, and like if you have creative blockages or if you need help with your creative work. You don't have to be an artist or a writer to use this book, but just for anyone in general, it's a great tarot resource. So I'll send a picture of it on my IG story after this reading, but I highly recommend getting this book, especially if you are interested in tarot, and if you happen to be someone who's creative or go through a lot of different creative blockages in your life. She helps use tarot to alleviate that stress. But she's amazing. I love her. And she also every Tuesday has her Tarot Tuesdays, and she talks about astrology and other different things. But yes, let's get into this little mini reading. Okay. So the first card, what am I taking? So what are we taking just from life right now? And just what are we taking? Okay, so we have the Ace of Wands reversed. This is such a cool card. I need to use this deck more. So we have the Ace of Wands reversed here. And with Ace of Wands, in terms of what are we taking, we could feel like we're not taking enough, honestly. I feel like 2020 maybe has made us a little hesitant to reach out and grab what we need. And we need to start creating more space for ourselves here in the now, and not preventing ourselves from moving forward and preventing ourselves from reaching towards success and fulfillment based off of the attitude of last year and based off of discouragement. Like, we can't let discouragement win. So we need to be taking up space. We need to be proclaiming, like, I want a raise, I want a promotion, or I want, these type of things in my life, even if it's like a bigger apartment or more expansion in some way, or even just to feel more comfortable in the space that you're in. Like, maybe you have the dream job, or you have the relationship or whatever that you want, but you feel like you're not fully 100% open to it, or you're trying to find your way into a new space, and you want to be able to feel comfortable in it. So definitely Ace of Wands energy. We need to start reaching for more. And I know the energy is like really conflicted right now. We did have 6 planets with the moon in Aquarius, but now the moon went into Pisces. So we're back to 5 planets being in Aquarius, but there is a lot of anxiety and anxiousness in terms of groups right now. And where do we fit? Do we fit in this group anymore? Or is, this where I want to be putting my time and energy? There's a lot of contemplation happening. But in the midst of that, there's room to grow. It's like, well, how can I spread my light into the world? How can I make sure that I have the best for my survival or the best for my needs right now? We have to start putting ourselves first and not forget about our desires in the midst of chaos that we've been accustomed to the past, couple years. So I think that's beautiful. And I was actually talking about this on the phone with my mom this morning, and I was just telling her, I'm like, every 6 months you need to reevaluate your life. You need to reevaluate your career, your relationships, your home, your money, what you're doing, is what you're doing purposeful. We all have to make sure that we give ourselves a check-in and, just take a seat back from the cosmic drama and look around and just decide for ourselves, like, is this good enough for me? Is this still aligned with what I want? Because if not, you're going to end up in a dead-end job for years, or you're going to end up in a living situation or a relationship that isn't for you. So it's very important to always try to be proactive in creating movement in your life. And it can be disruptive. Like when I was on the phone with my mom, she's like, you got to think about, like, is this really what you want to do? You're going to have to start over in certain aspects, and, talking about like career stuff. And, I was telling her, like, I need to do what's best for me and my survival. I can't be complacent. And if it means disruption and change, if a situation doesn't get better, then that's what needs to be the medicine to move forward. So we all have to think about, and I think with Mercury retrogrades happening, we have 3 to 4 Mercury retrogrades a year. This year we're having 3. It's a good time during these retrogrades to contemplate, like, am I happy in my career? Am I getting compensated fairly for the work that I do? Is this relationship progressive, or is it hindering me? Are these friend groups supportive, or are they just surface level? Like, we always have to be having like a mental checklist and like going through it and giving like a 5-star review, or like, this is 1 star. Okay, well, if like the career is 1 star, how can we make it 5-star? Does that mean trying to brush up your resume and look and see what other jobs are out there? We have to always, stay proactive. And it's not fun to be like, oh, I got to update my resume because I'm not happy and I know it and blah, blah, blah. But if you don't do these things, it's going to end up being resentment. And that's going to make you bitter, and you're going to underperform in your life in whatever area it is. Even if it's your, relationship, if you're not happy, you're going to underperform there. And then it's going to cause even more issue instead of trying to be proactive to fix it. So, the Ace of Wands is just a hint. It's just a little sprinkling that we need to start getting the wheels circling and reach for more and create more space for ourselves and more prosperity in our life and not be hesitant. And I'm pulling with Oracle of Oddities, cooperation. So how are we cooperating with the system right now? Do we feel complacent in the system, or that we're just kind of, shuffling along like, okay, this is fine, even though it's not great, whatever is going on in your life. Don't, like, if you want to cooperate to not dismantle the peace, that can be a benefit and a loss. Sometimes you got to shake things up. And make people cooperate with your needs. And sometimes people don't know what you need, and you have to tell them, like, oh, I didn't know that she wanted a raise. I gotta, cooperate with her and the higher powers in like the company to get her what she needs, so that we can work together. Because if someone's feeling unfulfilled, they're not going to be at their highest potential and be operating at their highest frequencies. So we all need to make sure we're all on the same page. And we have to cooperate. And I think that's what this Aquarius energy is for, because it rules the collective. We need to all find a way to band together and work together so that we all are benefiting each other for the highest good. It's not just this one-sided, selfishness. Like, that's very Capricorn energy. It's very patriarchal. Like, we're moving away from that shift of Capricorn energy that's dying, that's on the way out. Especially the next 3.5 years when Aquarius goes into Pluto, it's going to be even more of a shift towards cooperation instead of an unalignment of fairity. All right, so next card. What am I contributing? So what are we contributing right now? Okay, so we have the King of Pentacles reversed here. So this is also someone in our lives, male or female, or it can be aspects of ourselves. And the King of Pentacles is all-knowing, wisdom, financial savvy, comfortable, but it worked hard to be in that place of comfort. It worked hard to be in that place of being the teacher, of like, I can give you guidance because I've been through it. But when it's reversed here, what are we contributing? What we're contributing is wanting more and knowing that we don't have all the answers. And what we're contributing is dismantling collectively these patriarchal structures of power and like what it means to be successful or to survive in the corporate world or, you know, a patriarchal world. We're contributing this downfall of the patriarchy, if we're aware of it or not. You know, that's what's happening with these systems. And I was watching one of my favorite shows I just watch on repeat when I'm trying to like work or relax. It's called Miss America, and it was on FX. It's now on Hulu, but you can watch it on Hulu. It's an incredible show. It has Cate Blanchett, Rose Byrne, so many like incredible famous actresses are in it. And it talks about the amendment of the ERA and the struggle that women took, like feminists took, to get that ratified. And I was watching this show yesterday, a couple episodes, and just how different movements, like 60 years ago, were just completely radical. Like, oh my gosh, like you're queer, that's a radical concept. And then like I was also like simultaneously going on Instagram, and I follow like so many queer Black creators, and it's just, and I was also, some of the commercials they were playing in the show was just very liberal and very free and open. And I was like, wow, like look how times have changed. Like we were so suppressed as a society that we couldn't be ourselves. And even as women, not having a lot of rights and trying to fight to pave our way through. And now we're living in a more freer world, and it's just becoming more free and individualized and more accepting of any type of, person or sexuality. Even though it's like, it's getting there, it's still, it's still a battle each day. But, times have changed compared to what it was 60 years ago when feminists were on the street, like literally trying to just get equal pay. And it's still not 100% today, but we just changed so much as society and are now more open and accepting to people of color, to queer people, to like everyone. And it's showing through the commercials, it's showing through social media, it's showing through advertisements. And before, 60 years ago, you would have never thought that was possible. And that just shows, as a society, we're slowly dismantling this picture perfect idea of what it means to be an American, or what it means to be successful, what it means to be living the right way in society, conformism. Like we're getting rid of that. And that shows with the King of Pentacles reverse. It's like that's no longer measuring up to who people really are. And that's our contribution. Our contribution is fighting the status quo. And I think that is rewarding work. And the more we tap into our magic, the more we tap into who we are, the more we'll be able to dismantle these structures and this system that has been in place longer, than we've been alive. It's been generational. And that's our contribution as a society right now. That's the contribution of Age of Aquarius, and our contribution of having 5 planets right now in Aquarius is being aware of the fact that the old past systems of suppression to who people are inside does not work. And it's never happened, it never will. And, society as a whole is learning. And we're like, okay, we're going to let people be themselves. We're going to support and promote that because, not like individuality sells. Like people are going to move towards, what they feel is authentic, not what they feel is being force fed down their throat. So I think that's good. I think the King of Pentacles is good. We want that reversed. And I remember in 2020 when I was doing these weekly readings, I kept on pulling the King of Pentacles upright, and it was annoying me. And it's like, okay, this energy is subsiding, which I think is really good. And it's because of us. It's because we're not supporting white supremacy. We're not supporting the patriarchy. We're not supporting capitalism coming just from, millionaires. Like we're trying to support small local businesses. Okay, so how can we help is the third card. Okay, so we're pulling another ace. We're pulling the Ace of Pentacles reversed here. You know, how can we help is just making sure we're feeding a new system through money. Making sure, like I was saying, like we're spending money towards a more conscious way of living. Being like buying local, buying from small businesses. Like we'll shift as a whole collectively in the right direction if we stop buying things from Amazon, if we stop promoting these multi-billion-dollar companies that don't care about their people. And I was talking to my sister the other day about Amazon, and like she was saying that people who work at Amazon, the turnover rate is so quick because they're not dissatisfied with the pay, and the conditions are not ideal for working. So the average Amazon worker only is there for a couple of months and they find something better. So it's really has you thinking. It's like, do I want to support Amazon? Do I want to support these big companies because they don't treat their people right? And the majority of the people who are working these jobs are people of color. So it's just another just level of consciousness that we have to have. Like, if it's companies that we're working for, we're putting our time and energy towards. Like, how is that really benefiting the world as a whole? And like, I work in fashion. I know that fashion is like the second polluter of the world, and I don't feel 100% happy working in the industry knowing this. But like the collection that I work on is sustainable and recycled and organic fabric, so I feel a little bit better that the collection that I design with my team, it's all sustainable fashion. So that makes me feel better. Like, okay, this is bettering the earth in some way, even though it's still a problem. It's not so detrimental. And that's just another conscious decision we have to make. We have to think, okay, is my money really going to feed someone who is really contributing beauty and authenticity to the world, or is it feeding the pocket of someone who already has enough money to end poverty and hunger, but doesn't want to do so? It's kind of like, what is the choice here? We have to decide, and it begins with us, and that's what the Ace of Pentacles is telling us. It begins with us of how we want to contribute to the downfall of conformist society. But the only way we can really do that is by being honest with ourselves, and it's like, are we the problem or are we the solution? And it's, we're a mix of both, because we have to survive in the problem, but we also have to be knowledgeable and open enough to be part of the solution. And that's another Aquarius thing that we're collectively going to be drawn to participate in collectively and have cooperation in that. All right, I'm going to pull another card. I'm going to pull a clarifier using postcards from the liminal space. Okay. And I'm pulling death as the healing here. So this is very beautiful. And it is true. It's like we need something to end in our lives in order for something new to begin. And I think just so much in the past year has ended for us, for both better or for worse. And it's, beautiful. It's beautiful at the end. It is healing. It's like, wow, I was able to survive this or surpass this difficulty in my life, and coming through from the other side, as I quote the Doors, break on through from the other side. And I think death is the healing. It's like we have to find it within ourselves to know when a toxic pattern is no longer working, and decide to retrace our steps, figure out why this isn't working, and then to take the action to make the just needed change, so that mistake and that problem, that issue never happens again. And we're in the midst of that. We're in the midst of trying to heal from our mistakes collectively and personally. Okay, so last question. What do we need? All right, so we're pulling the devil here. This is actually a really cool card. I want like prints of these and framing them. So we have the devil upright. And it's really interesting that this whole spread is like devil energy because the devil rules Capricorn. And with the devil, it's unchaining yourself from bad habits, unchaining yourself from vices or certain people, a job, whatever it is that is no longer serving your higher good. But also devil energy is very fun because it is that work hard, play hard balance. Because Capricorn energy, it's all about career, it's all about being pragmatic, and it's all about trying to make it in a very difficult structure, which is the patriarchy, because the devil rules daddy energy, it rules the patriarchy. Same with Capricorn. So with here, like, what do we need? We need the system to work for us, but the only way the system can work for us is if we change it to work for us. We need to have some type of organized system in order for society and civilization to work. That's just how things are. We're no longer living in the dark ages. We're exchanging berries for meat. That was a change. That was currency. Before money was involved, there was still a need for exchange. There was still a need to uphold some type of order, some type of structure in society and civilization, because that's the only way it can survive. We can't survive as a society by everyone just watching Netflix all day and not contributing to the corporate world. Like, we need to do work. We need to have some type of fulfillment in the work that we do. And the devil is a reminder that you can still work hard and play hard, but just make sure what you're doing is authentic and it's for your highest potential. Like, how I was saying, take 6 months, take the 6 months, every 6 months, and just think about, okay, does it look good? Am I proud to serve it? Is it hot? Does it look good? Am I proud to serve it? That's the quote. And that's what we have to ask ourselves. Does it look good? Is it hot? Am I proud to serve it? Are you happy with what you're chained to? Or is it time for you to open up your third eye and make a decision to consciously disrupt your life and take off the change? It's like, what's bounding you? What are you bound to right now? Are you bound to old toxic behaviors? Are you bound to a job you don't like? Are you bound to an unpassionate relationship? Like, you have to ask yourself, like, what am I bound to? And how can I change that? How can I have more play, more fun, and not having this feel like work all the time? The devil and Capricorn rules status in the world too. So ask yourself, is this the type of reputation I want to have? Do I want to have the reputation as being someone who supports toxic companies? Do I want to have the reputation of someone who is working for a company or like in a relationship that doesn't bring any positivity into the world? It just takes. So honest conversations you have to have, and that's what devil energy, it's here to confront us and to let us know, like, what are you really working towards? Is this really benefiting you, or are you being controlled by some other force because you're too scared or you're too unaware to really take action on your life? So the choice is ours. All right, and I'm going to end here with one last card using the Goddess Tarot deck. And I'm pulling Tina Fey and Amy Poehler here as the Three of Cups. It's a cool card. And it just really shows that you don't have to do this work alone. You can still have fun and get along with your friends, get along with a group, a like-minded group, and create this change. That's the beauty of Aquarius energy, is this change happens collectively. Whereas Capricorn energy, it's more so your own work. It's like you are the goat climbing up the mountain by yourself, working towards your own goals and vision. You don't really need anyone else to help you. It's all about you. And now that Saturn has moved into Aquarius, we're thinking about, okay, well, how can I bring support with me along on this journey? And support that uplifts me. It's not just financial support. It's more so like friendship support. How is that going to better the work and the progress and the change that needs to come? Because there's still so much work that needs to come, and there's still so much unfulfillment, I think, that we're collectively feeling, and we're having withdrawal syndrome of like, well, will things ever get better again? Were things ever that great to begin with? But as long as you have people in your circle who support you and are thinking the like-minded like you, you'll be able to work together to create more change, to create that space. Be a team. Like, we're pulling cooperation and we're pulling Three of Cups. So, we can have a fun time the next couple years trying to create a new beginning for our world and for ourselves. And I just want to pull one more clarifier. Then we'll end this little mini reading. That turned out to be pretty big. And I think it's just a hint of what's to come, and I'm pulling water here, the water element. And I think we'll start having more of a way of how to do this work as we go into Pisces season next week. And Pisces season will give us the time and the space to really dream, to fantasize, and to envision, and to psychically connect to these visions of our purpose here and what we can do to make the world a better place and what we can do to create a space for ourselves in it. And I think that's really beautiful. So thank you so much. I hope this was fun, and I definitely appreciate everyone here every week. And I know it's a short reading, but I know everyone wants to enjoy their special day. And thank you so much. And if you want a personal reading with me, can DM me and also book on my website. And I have some really cool things coming out in the next coming weeks, so I'll be really excited to share those with you when I can. And thank you so much, everyone. Enjoy your Valentine's Day, and I love you. Bye.